I believe that the fires we're cast upon are the flames we shall become. I believe in a common calling where our temples pray as one. I believe in the word of wonder and a kingdom for the saved.
Larry Pollock and Leo Mayrhofer here, Underground Performance Gym Podcast. Today we're going to discuss the upcoming Legions Pro Bodybuilding that's coming up this weekend with Tonio Burton and Blessing Awodibu. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his last name right.
Awodibu.
Blessing
Awodibu.
And we're going to also talk about veterans versus science, new science, and live Q&A, answer all of your questions. So let's jump into the Legions, and I'm going to pull up the competitor list right now. Let's see. That's plastic. Let's go to the open. And there we go.
Yep.
Okay.
Bunch of big names. What? Not big names, but familiar names from the shows before.
Yeah. So, most notable on there is Tonio Burton.
Yeah.
Is it Antonio or Tonio? They have it listed Tonio, but I thought it was Antonio.
He always goes by Tonio, so but he probably his name is Antonio, but who cares?
Well, I've seen some well, actually, I saw him win the Cal Pro last year, and he's pretty impressive. And I just saw a recent update and supposedly put on like 10 pounds more muscle. And that guy is crazy shredded. He was a little bit small last year, but with 10 pounds more muscle, I think he's dangerous. So he's my favorite to win. Maybe we can pull him up on Instagram so people can take a look.
Do you see it?
Not yet.
I'm sharing it. Why doesn't it share it?
Oh, maybe because I have this other one. Let me remove this. I don't see anything yet.
I'm sharing it. Okay, I'll try it again. You see nothing?
No.
It says I'm sharing. Maybe people can comment if they see it.
No, I'm not seeing it. I don't think anybody's seeing it because I have to add it to the stage. I don't know why.
Maybe you do. I have. Yeah.
Oh, here. I see it at the bottom. Wait. Hold on. It's let me remove this. I have to scroll down to see it, I think, because it's here we go. Hold on. There we go.
You see this now?
Yeah.
But you know what's funny? Massive filter. Like all these guys always filter everything. The classic guys are the worst, bro. Like all the guys that compete in classic, I look at them and I'm like filtered, but massively filtered. I mean, he has these striations, but this is so filtered. This is like, look, everything is so crisp here. This is just crisping out. Like,
yeah, but he really looks like that.
Nah, it's filter, man.
Yeah.
Sure, he's in good shape. You can't filter that much, but just it's so stupid when they filter so much and then they get on stage and they look just a tiny bit not as good.
Right.
They like this creates a big expectancy. So I always do the opposite, and everyone on stage is like, "You look so much better, wow!" And the other guys I see like, "Oh man, like nowhere near." Like the internet is your best friend, but not reality.
Well, I mean, he's got veins all through his back.
Yeah,
he's crazy conditioned.
He is conditioned for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I saw him in person last year at the Cal, and he's crazy conditioned and very round.
Yeah.
And supposedly 10 pounds more muscle, so he's going to be bigger. That's the only thing that was hurting him in the past, is that he looked a little small next to some of the other guys. But if he's 10 pounds more muscle on that frame, yeah, he's going to be hard to deal with. You want to pull up Blessing?
Yeah, Blessing. Oh my God. Let's see. Well, I'll let you talk, but I mean, what do you think about Blessing? This is like the last update, really.
To be honest with you, I mean, I've always thought I don't know. There's like one time I've seen him like in shape, but he doesn't look completely in shape there. I know he's
very soft, very soft.
Yeah, I know he's big, but I think conditioning is a problem for him. His structure's a little weird too.
I think only his legs is a little weird. The upper body has really nice shape. Like that's why he posted this. I mean,
Yeah.
structurally from this in this side shot, that's almost perfect. But he just
Right.
like there's no separation here. You can just see he's like soft. He looks great, but he needs like 5-6 more weeks. And like hard, like really hard, like 5-6 weeks really, really hard training and dieting. And then he can be on. But he's not that good that he can be like Andrew Jack style and just not be in shape and win, you know? She's not good enough for that. So I think like if
No.
he looks like that, I think like he might end up very, very far back, very far back. So
Another name on there was Jonathan Padilla. I believe he wasn't the guy that he placed pretty high last week.
yeah, he placed in front of Justin, which I thought is like, come on, but yeah,
Yeah, he was he wasn't in the greatest shape. Big, but I think he's from Mexico. But his condition was like kind of whatever. And then we have let me pull up the list. Hang on a second. So we have on here Bruno Santos, who we saw last week.
He could do well.
Bruno was conditioned really good last week. He just I don't know.
Try to change his back pose.
His shape was a little strange.
I think in his back shot, the way his legs are not the biggest from the back, and then the way he poses them, he makes them look even smaller. He makes his legs from the leg look very stringy and creates the gap in between the thighs, which makes him look smaller. But he has actually good structure, good muscle bellies. I mean, he won a pro show last year. Let's see. I mean, if I don't know why, for whatever reason, Tonio is not in shape or spills or I don't know, then maybe he can have a chance. I think this guy who's really good is Kennedy, but he should just like really, really diet hard. I hope like he was like not cheating after the New York Pro and just getting right back to it and peeling down because this guy looks really, really good.
You want to pull him up?
Yeah.
Bruno, a lot of people were commenting on his glutes last week, and I noticed that they looked a little strange. They're very round, almost look like there's implants in them, but except that you can see striations in the glutes.
Yeah. Do you see it, or do you have to stop sharing yourself?
Let me see. I think I got to remove the other one.
Yeah.
Move. Let's see. Let's add this. There we go.
You see it?
Yeah.
So his weakness is his back and his conditioning. But if he's conditioned, really, really good. Let's see. Damn. I hope there's more on this video than this. Yep. You can see a little bit.
It's good shape.
They didn't show much. Yeah, if he's more dialed in, he can really do well. He had mostly his fat. I thought there was more because you saw this picture here, but it was only the backstage stuff. Yeah, but he has really good structure.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's see here. He was just a little soft, you know. But if he, let's say he like peels it down, he has 2 more weeks from there on. He could do damage. He could do damage. So I think this guy has a big future. I think he's pretty young. I'm not sure how young he is, but I think he's pretty young.
Yeah, I
And
think
look
he's
at
pretty
that.
new too.
This is just a year ago.
Right.
So he looks really much bigger now. Much bigger. But he was in better shape there. So he's interesting, definitely, to look out for, at least for the future too. We can see what he's bringing now, but I'm waiting for him to come out, definitely.
So who else do we got on there? We saw that Florian guy.
Yeah, he was
last
5th.
week.
Yeah,
And he came from Classic, and now he's in Open.
yeah, I think he jumped
he
back
actually
and
looks
forth
better.
twice.
He looks better as an Open.
Oh yeah, way better. Way better.
But he has a little strange kind of shape to him.
Yeah,
He's
let
big.
me share it.
He's big and he's conditioned, but his shape is just kind of odd.
I'm on his side if you want to let me.
I'm pulling it up right now.
Yeah.
I remember last week he looked like size and conditioning wise, he was like right there with the rest of the top 5, but he just has like a strange shape, especially from the back. I think his back's a little bit weak.
You see that?
Yeah.
So this is on his story now. Okay. Flying there pretty late. Thursday. Okay. So he's not there early. That might not be the most clever.
Well, he was flying from where? Southern California?
That's right. The flight's not far.
It's an
an
hour flight, maybe?
Yeah, an hour 40 or so, yeah.
Yeah.
You can't see much here, unfortunately. Maybe
he's got a lot of muscle and he's conditioned. It's just his shape is kind of weird.
Yeah, his back is still a little weak. But if you compare to what it was when he was classic, it improved a lot.
Oh yeah.
A lot.
He looks way better as an Open.
Yeah, but he's also way more conditioned as an Open. That's the weird thing.
Yeah.
He was way worse conditioned. There you go. Way worse conditioned when he was classic. Maybe it was he had to like lose so much and then he spilled in classic,
Yeah. He's just not meant to be that light with his bone structure.
I think
sometimes he's
rather narrow.
Yeah, that his shoulders are narrow, but he's still got like big like joints and stuff.
Yeah, he's like this wood chopper thing. I always call them wood choppers. He has these like strong legs and big calves, big arms. Like this is the typical extremity guy. There's always these guys, they have big arms and big legs, but then they have no chest and no back, which he obviously has chest and back, but he probably needs to work way harder to develop chest and back compared to arms and legs.
Well, I think there's a reason for that on the upper body, at least, because like in all the pressing movements, it tries to take over.
Yeah.
Like I have a guy right now, I'm getting prepping for USA's. The guy's got 22-inch legit arms, and it he's got a real hard time bringing up his chest because all you can see every time he presses, it's like all triceps.
Yeah.
On anything.
Also, this Poisson, I could bet he's like crazy strong. From his extremities and his build, he looks like he has an easy time benching a lot, like short waist, all arms, you know.
Yeah.
So these guys, they need to do like probably a lot of flies, really heavy with stretch and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing with my guy right now because, like I said, his arms
Yeah.
are so damn big. He can press like a shit ton on everything, flat, inclines, dumbbells, machines, doesn't matter what. But it's like his chest gets sore, but it's his triceps are so strong that it's like all triceps.
Yeah. I mean, Patrick Moore, man, I hope he comes like in this aceto shape from 2010 or when that was.
I don't know. I think he's done.
Yeah, it wasn't 2010. It was obviously like 2019, I think.
Yeah,
That was so good. Remember that? Ah, man, so sad.
He's got
So
the
good.
shape and the structure, and he's probably got the best genetics of anybody up there, but he just doesn't bring it.
Yeah.
He doesn't bring the conditioning, and his legs are still a little small. I think he almost looked better when he won the USA and turned pro.
Probably.
You know what it is too? It's his personal life. He just can't get his shit together. You know,
We had that before. Yeah. I remember we had that before on the podcast. This
yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Where he beat up this guy.
Yeah. Just you know, if your personal life is a freaking train wreck, it's going to bleed over into your bodybuilding. You're not going to be a great bodybuilder.
Yeah. I'm going to share this guy who a lot of people talk a lot about. He's called Smoke King. Oluwatobi Ishola. He won his pro card, I think, last year. Let me know when you see it, Larry.
I got it. Hold on, give me 1 second.
Yeah.
There we go. Is he competing in this show?
Yeah. Looks like he has a little gyno. That's not going to be good.
Like a lot of gyno.
Yeah, didn't want to say it that harsh.
I don't know why they don't. If you got that much gyno, let's get that shit cut out.
Yeah, well, he got it recently. If you look at this, doesn't look like he has gyno here when he won his pro card. Right?
Yeah.
No, that's pretty. There's no issue. And he looked pretty good. And seemingly people think he put on a lot of muscle. So
maybe after he won his pro card, he just jacked his dosages.
I mean, he has great structure, but it doesn't look like he's fully shredded. If that's really 2 days out, then I don't think it's going to be good enough because this doesn't look that good here.
Why is he not showing his legs?
I don't know. He's showing his legs here. That is like, so he says he's 15 pounds heavier. And yeah, I mean, the filters are on. I don't think he looks that separated. So if he's 15 pounds heavier, I would say he probably is also 7 pounds less in shape. But we will see. His chest here looks better, but yeah, you can't see it really with the gyno.
He's thick. He's got a lot of muscle on him.
It looks like there's not really a separation in sharp glutes. Maybe it is because it's there's a shade. I mean, hard to tell. Hard to tell. I mean, he looks big. He looks a little like imbalanced here. The shoulder heads it looks forward rotated. The front delt looks way bigger. That doesn't look really symmetrical here. Maybe it's the way he poses. Maybe he just
that's
has
what I
to
was
put
thinking.
that
Maybe
arm,
the way he's hitting the pose.
back. Maybe he just has to open up the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's just like trying to figure it out. He's too new.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. It's always interesting how it's going to translate on stage.
Yeah.
I mean, he had really good shape, and it looked really good back here. Like if you get this in bigger, then hell yeah. But to me, it doesn't look like he has that deep cuts right now.
Right.
Not at all. Maybe he's a water buffalo, and it will change. But look at this change too. What the change in posing and conditioning and muscle size can
Yeah.
do looks like a total different human.
Right.
Crazy. And that's just 1 year. Wow. November 23 to August 24. I mean, if he brings the same amount of change this time, then lights out. But it doesn't look like it. But we'll see. We'll see.
So, anybody else on the list?
I don't think anyone that can be dangerous. Wasn't Adam Millage also in the Cali way back?
I don't remember. Maybe he was, but I don't remember who he was. I think he was probably down the list. If he was, maybe if I see him, I'll recognize him. I just don't remember his name.
Let me check. Yeah, I think. Yeah. I think he was. I think he was pretty far behind. I pulled him up here. Let's look at him. Maybe he didn't do it. I think he didn't do it. No.
Well,
I pulled him up. I pulled him up. So
I
there
don't
it
see.
is. Here.
Okay.
Also looks like he has a little gyno. Sorry, like I really don't want to. I really don't want to be like the guy who's pointing it out. Like everyone has gyno. I just like this. I just see it and I'll say it. And I don't want to be that asshole, but it's just like pops into my vision. I mean, does he have anything moving? No.
He looks really wide.
This looks great. Good separations here, and that's even bad lighting. That's really good. The side chest is good. I mean, obviously he should push this side chest more from like up. He almost makes it smaller. He pushes like onto it. But if he figures that, the pose looks really good. I like it, the pose. Yeah, he hasn't. The chest is too flat. It's so flat.
Yeah, that's what I was
love
gonna say.
that. I love the hamstrings, but the chest is way too flat.
Yeah, it looks like he has like no pecs. The back shot's decent.
You can't really tell, but to me, it looks like this looks really good. If the lighting was good, it's hard to say, but it kind of looks like there's a lot of separation going on.
Yeah, big shoulders and arms.
Horribly. Put your hands further up. Put your elbows more down. Chest up. He's crunching. Chest up to the sky, and then pull forward. Like so many people do this mistake that they crunch always. Like they make this like a Quasimodo back lat spread.
I had this guy that had the most amazing back, but he couldn't do a fucking lat spread for the life of him. It took me forever to teach him how to do a lat spread. It was so weird because he had the biggest lats and they came all the way down from his waist. Yeah. And every time he did a lat spread, it was like a most muscular.
Yeah. So he did the Detroit. And his chest is just not there.
Yeah. He looks tall.
Yeah. And he looks like he has bad acne. Like real bad.
Yeah, if you can't cover that up with a 10, it's got to be really bad.
Yeah, here we got the back double. Unfortunately, we have someone blowing. Do you hear that, or is it okay?
I don't know what that. What's
that? Do you hear that? The guy blowing grass in the background here?
Oh, at your place?
Yeah, or is it?
I don't hear it.
Okay.
No.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Yeah, he's like, I feel bad, but like he's not going to do well.
No. I think
So,
Antonio's the favorite, to be honest with
oh
you.
yeah,
I don't see
yeah.
anybody beating him.
Tonio is going to win unless we see one of the other guys coming in deadly shredded, and they're way taller than him. But
Yeah.
I think this guy you had just showed. If he the big smoke guy who turned pro last year, if he
Mm-hmm.
would come in the same condition as he turned pro with added size, he could do damage. I think he's really tall, but he doesn't look like he's going to come in that way. So, but that would have been very interesting. And Kennedy the same. If Kennedy is like death shredded, that would be interesting. So I just pray because I don't want to see a boring show there. But it's kind of
No.
sad that some people missed out on it. Sasai Roddy should have done that show instead of Toronto. Yeah.
And it was weird because he was close by. He was already in Cali.
Sas is like, he wants 2 weeks. He says for him it's better than two
apparently
weeks.
he went back to England like the day after the Cal, and I was going to fly back to Toronto. I don't know why he just didn't stay and go to this show.
Yeah.
I think if he went to this show, he could have given Antonio a run for his money. Maybe.
Oh, yes. Especially because they're like, now it's someone who's not bigger than him.
Yeah.
And that would have been a good one. A close one.
They were saying
maybe they would have even. You go.
He had to get home to his family or some kind of thing.
Yeah, he has family. Yeah, I had him on the podcast, so that's going to come out on Sunday.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Sash Hirati and how he can be so shredded. And you know what? They used no fat burner, not even Clen.
Well, I mean, honestly, if you're already lean enough.
He wasn't. He started at 280 for Detroit.
Oh, you mean
it just came down like this. The guy is really like genetic freak. Like he needs like takes very little gear. We talked about numbers just one time, like total amounts. I didn't want to press him on numbers. It didn't feel like he wanted to disclose it. And also, when you go on Trained by JP, they have this app. He's on there, and there he logs everything. I don't know if he still does it, but I think so. So when I was following him in like 5-6 years ago, I saw all his dosages on there. Of course, it can be all lies, but I kind of see that. I kind of feel it's true also because he didn't improve like crazy since then, and I feel he's a very honest guy, and he has these Persian genetics. These guys, like a lot of these people, like they're really crazy genetically, and he has a Cito as a coach who's also not aggressive, and Cito has been coaching him for like 10 years now, so it just all adds up, let's say. And it's interesting also how he goes about training and everything. But yeah, just check it out on Sunday. Not too much advertisement here. Yeah, I think we can say I think it's more interesting. Let's say who's going to be second, huh? What do you think? Who's going to come second?
Yeah, I think Antonio, it's a walk in the park, and then it's who's second between the rest of them.
What do you think? What would you think? Bruno, probably.
Bruno or Blessing.
I think Blessing is not going to be anywhere close. I think Blessing probably is going to come in 7th or 8th. I think he's going to be 2 off. I don't know how he can turn that around. I think second might be Bruno, or if we're lucky and Kennedy did his homework, he could even come in for second.
Yeah.
And Poisson is going to do well just because he was just behind Bruno. So if I'm a betting man, it's probably second Bruno and third Poisson. And then, I don't know. I don't have the list in front of me, but yeah. Maybe then Kennedy, if I'd be betting. I want to see Kennedy in shape, but I'm not betting on it. So that's how I would probably estimate it. Yeah. Bruno Santos second, Poisson third, then Kennedy. This is Shola guy, wild card. He doesn't look like he's in shape enough. Maybe he's a total water buffalo, takes to Diazide and is like peeled. You know, it
Yeah,
can
I don't
happen.
know.
I
I
don't
know it
think
could
so,
happen, but
but could be.
I
Yeah.
I wouldn't put money on it.
No, I'm not. That's why that's would be my guess, my estimation if I would put money on it, and I would estimate Blessing, yeah, nowhere near the top 4 from just what I saw, and I saw
Right.
he looks way off. And Patrick Moore also, like, maybe he gets on the treadmill and you know
Nah.
ups it to resistances, but I don't think so either.
I don't
So
see him pulling a miracle out from last week to this week.
yeah.
I don't see it. I think this is an easy show for Antonio.
Yeah. It's so chill, man. He's at home. He doesn't even have to go to the hotel. He goes there, gets his Olympia qualification, gets $10,000, goes back home. Perfect.
Yep.
It's like they tailored the show for him.
Yeah, probably a smart move for him to do, huh?
Absolutely.
Not much competition to go after either.
But you also have to be lucky that no one else is doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, Crizzo could come on. Look, Crizzo could have done it. Sasha Hirati could have done it. Regan could have done it. Regan is in Vegas. He can drive there in an hour.
But Regan just got his qualification, so I don't think he cares.
Yeah, he can go there, get some footage in, get some YouTube video in, get some practice in, get some 10K in.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, okay. But yeah, would have been interesting. I would have probably done it. I would have totally done it.
Right.
If I win Cali and I'm like 1 hour next to the Legion, I'm signing up.
Right.
But that's me. Yeah.
I think Regan just wanted his Olympic qualification and leave it at that.
No, he's going to do Toronto.
He is.
Because he hasn't done a show in Canada for 10 years, he said. So he's like, he's signed up. Yeah. Oh, here's someone getting hard at you.
Yeah, you can go like stick that, wherever you want. If you don't like it, F off. Anyways, let's get into the next subject, which was we're talking about veterans versus science. So
regarding
lately,
training, right?
Mostly training, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of these new science guys coming out with different methodologies of training, reps and reserve. The other thing that's popular right now is higher frequency, and versus the old school way, which was first of all, when you say science versus veterans, I think that's not completely accurate because there's a lot of science involved from the veterans. Even though they consider it bro science, there was still science involved. It wasn't just like pulled out of your ass.
Can we look at the post from Jordan Peterson? Jordan Peters?
Yeah, let's pull that up. Can you?
Jordan Peterson is also a good one. Damn. Jordan Peterson, like, shoveled his own grave lately. Have you seen that?
No.
Oh, my God. He was on a debate and debating Christianity. And then he didn't want to say that he's a Christian.
He was debating Christianity?
No, he was debating atheists, sorry. So he was advocating for Christianity, and they even had to change the title afterwards because he didn't want to like commit to saying he's a Christian. And that, oh man, that went really well, really bad for him. And they had
Well,
some, yeah, they had some really um bad moments where he looked totally exposed.
like,
I have to, yeah.
why was he debating religion?
That was the thing. He was there to actually debate on the side of Christianity and against the atheists. I try to find this post, but I can't find it. Cool. This one maybe.
But what was his point?
I have it. But I don't know why he like. I think so. I think Jordan Peterson is not quite there yet. So he loves what the Christian values and the teachings,
Are you talking
and
about Jordan
also
Peterson, the bodybuilder, or Jordan Peterson, the psychologist guy from Canada?
Jordan Peterson is the psychologist.
Okay, there's a bodybuilder, Jordan
There's
Peters from
exactly Peters.
England.
Yep, and that's who we have here. I was just getting to him because I mixed up the both of the names, and then I was reminded of this debate, but I found the post. I didn't ask about range of motion or rep ranges over and over. Those questions didn't exist 20 years ago, and didn't need to because because there were people who had the size I wanted, so I emulated what they did. And guess what? It worked. We didn't even talk about fatigue ever. I'm so insanely embarrassed for you if you mention fatigue management to me. To get to this, I set lift targets, really fucking high ones. If I knew I could overhead Smith 5 plates aside, I would have bigger delts than anyone else. Oh, wow, it worked. I knew that if I could get my stiff leg to 8 plates aside, I would have bigger erectors. Oh, wow, that worked too. Fucking funny that. I focused entirely on the work and didn't give a shit what I felt endured to reach the lift targets. I cannot express how much I hate this app now and all the complete utter wank that I read from people with no muscle, advising people with no muscle. Ban these shit combos from your mind and focus entirely on the work. It's a small person thing to do to find 20 ways to distract themselves from the fact that they are too much of a fucking pussy to go after hard sets and set huge lift targets. I don't care if you're natty either. AJ Morris and Keefe West did it. They set piss take lift targets and build a shit ton of muscle doing it. I know Keefe West is natural, crazy shitty, crazy natural. That's what he claims. I believe him. I met him even. We didn't talk about not doing the work because of motor unit recruitment declines as sets go on. Fuck off. And just do it and do more of it and more again until you're so battered that you can't get out of bed. So, practical advice instead of just calling you all a bunch of useless cunts, whatever you lift now for 4 reps, you must get it to 12 ASAP with zero change in form, and then by this time next year, you must have increased your load on the bar by 50%. That is doable, I promise you. We savage and attack our sets and pull all this insane noise out of your mind. Are we trying to get big here or are we just talking about it?
So, what is your thought on all that?
Okay. So I have initial thoughts on that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's totally right, especially when he says you need to make progress with the same form. Perfect. But I hate to say it, he might be a little gifted, and he might also have overdone all the other aspects in order to get there in terms of drugs and kind of stimulants he might use before a workout. So I agree with the idea and that some people might be overthinking it, but you need to like have some kind of rest, right? In order to get stronger and really not overtrain and not overdo your central nervous fatigue, because you see it over and over that people want to do more work and they deadlift all the time and they can't get their deadlift up, for example, because they're just doing too much. So, I mean, you have to manage your training somewhat. And if you
Well, I
have
don't.
a good system for that and you find your perfect system and your perfect volume to match your intensity, then if you can have something that helps you towards that, I think it's fine. I think you can overthink it, and that's true, but just, putting the hammer down is not going to work for everyone. You know what I mean?
Well,
So
hold on.
I don't
First of
know. And
all,
I also think that there's people that trained high frequency back in the day. It's it's very yeah, I think
okay, so
it's very
let's
nuanced.
look at Jordan's training. He's pretty low volume.
I don't hear you.
You don't hear me?
Oh, I hear you. Did you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay, good.
his
Good.
training is pretty low volume,
Yeah.
very low volume. I mean, he does like 2 working sets in an exercise.
See,
That's
there's
it.
management already.
Right.
So,
So I mean, it's not like he's like doing massive volume. He's just doing progressive overload with heavy weight
exactly.
and just basic compound. He does use machines, but mostly compounds and a lot of heavy deadlifts, heavy pressing movements, and heavy leg press, squats, things like this. Um, but it's progressive overload, relatively low volume. I don't know about his frequency. I'm not that familiar with his training frequency, but um, basically, the only person that, if you look back at the top bodybuilders going back from, since the 80s, once Mike Mentzer came in with the high intensity training, I think most of the top guys went that way. And the only person that did higher frequency was Ronnie Coleman.
Yeah.
Nobody else trained body parts twice a week like that. No one did. Jay Cutler tried it, and then he realized it was just too much, and he backed down to once a week. But if you look at all the big bodybuilders from Dorian Yates, Ronnie Coleman, uh, Branch Warren, I mean, all the big guys, and even today, it's pretty much high intensity, low volume. I don't
There's
see
a
any.
lot of people. No, I see there's still a lot of people that do pretty long sessions and pretty high volume. And I think that's like at least 50-50. But then they do a bro split where they train everything once a week. But I see that a lot of times. But it's become way more through the internet when people where people like the people that try to dig a little deeper and try to, are a little more interested in what other people do and what might work, they go way more for high frequency and lower volume. I see that way more. Like a Justin Shire or so who makes crazy progress. Like there's a bunch of people that, yeah, back down on the volume a lot. I agree. And you know what's funny? At the end of the day, whoever you talked about, they kind of did the same thing. So they tried to figure out, oh man, how much can I do? And then they backed off, like what you said, because with their amount of volume, they figured, oh man, I can't do it that quite that often. So what they actually did was kind of, I mean,
So
Okay, you can
someone
call
just
it
said
maybe.
Martin and Brett are high volume bro split. Okay, they're high. They do a lot of different movements for each muscle group, but I don't think they're doing a whole lot of sets of each movement. I've watched the training. They're doing like one or two heavy sets in each movement. You know, of course they do some warm up sets.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah. So you mean the fats that the sets that are really high intensity are actually very low.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like one or two high intensity sets. They're not
yeah,
doing, 5 sets of high intensity in an exercise and then 5 exercises. They're doing 5 exercises and one or two sets each.
yeah.
I
True.
mean, I do that.
And when
I did back last night and I did, let's see, I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different movements. No, including 6 different movements. 6 movements because your back has so many different parts to it. But I was only doing uh 2, one straight set to failure and then a drop set, not counting the warm-up sets. Now, yeah, of course I do a warm-up set, but I don't even count that. I mean, the warm-up set is like, like 2 plates on the lat pull down, flex levers lat pull down, which is like no weight at all, just to stretch out and get a feeling of the movement. But I'm not really doing anything, so I don't count that as a set. But then I go straight to a heavy set to failure and then a drop set. So I did a lot of sets or different movements. I mean, I guess if you say total sets I did in that workout, like 12 sets of back, not counting the warm-up set that I do on each one. If I counted the warm-up set, it would be 18 sets. But really it's 12 working sets. But that's because back there's so many different parts to it.
yeah, so I do right now because back is rather one of my strengths. I do 3 different exercises for back, and I'm thinking, and sometimes I do a fourth. Sometimes I do that even on my shoulder day, which is a T-bar like row, like any row that is high, for the upper mid back and for the rear delts. So sometimes I would do that on a shoulder day and or on a day where I train shoulders. I don't have shoulder days. And otherwise I'll do a pull down and a row. And maybe now I'm gonna implement some pullovers again. I'm not sure about it. So yeah, like,
Did you see the
but then
Instagram clip
I
I
do it
put up with
twice
the
a day.
guy I'm training for the USA's right now?
No, the last one I saw was you doing like leg press.
No, I just posted it last night of Charlie doing back.
Should I put it up?
Yeah, pull it up.
Yeah.
Pull it up.
On Hellboy?
Either one. It's on either the KO gym or that. It's on either one of
Yeah,
them.
yeah, I got it. I got it.
There's a couple clips of his back workout.
See it?
Yep. Okay, so that was his top set of bent over rows. That's 405 pounds, and I think he does like 6, 7 really perfect reps. This was his top set. I think that's pretty good form with 405.
I think it's too heavy.
I stood right there and watched it. It looked. I didn't see too much cheating or anything.
I think if he takes one plate off, his reps will look 10 times better.
Oh, he did it with a lighter weight before that. That was his
Yeah,
top set.
Yeah.
Pull up the T-bar row.
I don't know how I should pull it up. Maybe it's further back in the end. There's nothing. Look, that's your account.
Look at the KO gym one.
On the underground gym one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there we go. This one?
Yeah. That was his final T-bar row. He started with 9 plates. A strip set.
Like when I do pullover, like bent over, like my upper body's not moving. And if I have to move my upper body, that's too much weight. Because I'm honest with myself. If I do it like him, the first reps, no way I have the same mind muscle connection than when I'm able to keep my body straight. So if I'm not able to keep my body straight, I'm not upping the weight. I'm like, that's an exercise where it's just like not going to be 6 reps. That's like a 9 to 12, 13 rep exercise for me in my mind. Because as soon as you go to like lower, it's like almost impossible to keep the form. But that's just my opinion. I mean, you can do like one set with the form like that. If you do like, let's say perfect form on the other sets, it's fine. If you don't, injure
No, he only
yourself.
did one set with that heavy a weight.
Yeah, exactly.
He does. So his whole back workout consists of pull-ups, bent over rows, deadlifts, T-bar rows, and one-arm dumbbell rows, and then a reverse hyperextension, which is just kind of a therapeutic thing.
I mean, that's kind of a good back workout for like a really thick back, like the old school things with dumbbells and barbells. That just works.
That is the back workout that I did.
Yeah.
That my whole until I got injured, that I built my back with it, and I built.
And your back was thick as hell. I've seen your posing
thick and wide
at the Muscle Beach contest, and your back is like, that's thickness, man. I think your back was probably your best body part, huh? Would you say?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you were pretty symmetrical, but your back was like, whoa, that was like.
And you saw me. That was a masters competition, not when I was younger, when it was like really big.
I think when you have people that look comparable to you from the front, and you turn around, no one had a back like you. So people with a back like you, they're usually probably like 30, 40 pounds heavier.
Yeah, and my back workout was always the same thing: pull-ups, barbell rows, deadlifts, T-bar rows, and one-arm dumbbell rows.
Yeah.
Now today I do like the hammer strength machines and things just because I got a lower back injury. But before, I mean, once in a while I used to like some of the hammer strength rows, and I like the Nautilus pullover. But most of the stuff I did was like heavy compound movements. And if you look at Dorian or Ronnie or most of the guys that had crazy backs, that's how they trained.
Yeah.
And if you just look at most of the big guys over the years, it's high intensity. And I know Jay Cutler says he lifted high volume. But really, when he was pushing size, chasing Ronnie Coleman, he was lifting heavy weights.
Yeah, but he always had like a few, like he didn't go to failure really. Like very close to it, but he never went to failure. When you look at all of his trainings, you're like, yeah, you could have done 2 more. You could have done 2 more. It's like, and that's why he needed so little like time in between. But when you look at the science, it really like adds up when you do that much volume, and you can accumulate the stimulus because he also did like shorter breaks, and then it seems to be like quite comparable at the end. And for some people it just works better, and for others it just doesn't work as well.
Well, when you say he didn't go to failure, I mean, that guy had a mind muscle connection to push his body pretty damn freaking hard. I mean, he was pushing pretty hard on all of his sets. It didn't, if he had another rep in him, maybe, but didn't seem like he was leaving much in the tank. The guy was working hard.
That's true, but technically he had to leave something in the tank Because if you don't, you can't do 4 sets with the same weight and a 45-second break in between if you don't leave anything in the tank. If you go to failure, there's no way you could recover that fast and move the same weight for the same reps. Like, no way on earth. I don't know. He must be like, unless he's Mr. Recovery, and I don't know. But
Actually,
usually, yeah.
I had got to a point where I had built like muscular endurance where I literally could do a lot of sets to failure. Not that I did all the time, but I could do it. I was able to do high volume and high intensity, and just from training for so long like that. When I say high volume, I'm not talking 5 sets per exercise, but maybe like 3.
Yeah.
But
And
3 with
you could do 45 seconds breaks and have the same amount of reps in the next set.
yeah. On back, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I used to do drop sets with dumbbell rows starting with 200 pounds, going 200, 180, 160, 140, and just like going right through them and then do another one on the other side. I just had that much endurance I could do it. And that that just smokes people.
I'm just thinking, if you go to failure on a chest press and you fail at 10 and 45 seconds later you do it again and you fail at 10 and 45 seconds later you do it again and you fail at 10, I think that's impossible. But okay.
No, I'm not saying that. Okay, I maybe misunderstanding. Maybe not exactly the same weight. I would do one set of like a drop set like that, but I could do several heavy sets pretty quickly.
Yeah. No, I get that, but that's what just like when you look at Jay's training, that's what he did. And I'm like, how can he be at like failing when then like he always did 4 sets, how I understand it. And then in the 4th set, he
what
does the
I'm
same
saying
reps
is
again.
when he trained, when he was really going for size, when he was really trying to build size going after Ronnie Coleman, if you look at his training videos, he was using heavier weights and longer rest. He didn't always train like that.
Yeah,
He
I mean,
training up.
Might be. Yeah,
He started like almost copying Rodney's training, like heavy T-bar rows, like he had 8, 9 plates on there. Literally almost copied Rodney's training for 2 or 3 years there. And that's when he was really like his biggest. And then I think once you have that size, you could probably back off and do more volume and not quite as high intensity because you're just kind of maintaining. Like his last Olympia that he did really well at, the one that he did the comeback, he was his lightest body weight on stage. He just looked better because of his conditioning and everything.
Well, I have to ask Jay. I have to ask Jay again.
I just watched the training over the years, and I think people forget, or people just maybe they don't even know. Like, I've watched these guys train. Look, I watched Bertil Fox train in the 80s. Like, I trained in the same gym, and I watched him train every day. And the guy went freaking balls out, heavy, and high volume. He did it.
Yeah, what I'm saying is like heavy is like, first off, heavy is individual. Like what might be heavy for me, and everyone would say, oh, he trains heavy, but if he can do 15 reps with that, it's not heavy. It's relatively not heavy. It's just heavy for a normal person and to look at. But for that guy, it's not heavy. What he could do 6 reps for, that would be heavy. And then you could still say, oh, he trained heavy and it was a heavy weight and he did 6 reps, but maybe he could have done 10. And then he does that all day. And then people are like, oh, he trains heavy all day. But maybe he still had like 4 reps in the tank all the time. So it's like, you can't really tell unless you're in the guy. But I know there's some people that can't endure so much volume and intensity. That's true. Like some people are just anomalies and they can go for hours and pretty hard. Not probably not like crazy, crazy hard, but pretty hard for hours. And I'm like, how they like even Joe, Arnold's son, he
Mhm.
trains pretty much to failure almost every set. And he does so much volume and he's natural. He trains like 5 days a week, sometimes six. But I'm like, this is nuts. This would make me burn out, you know? And he's also pretty strong for a natural. It's not like super lightweight that he's using. Like he's not like that far away from my weights. Like sure he is, but like it's not like sure if you take half the weights, you know, it's not going to strain you as much. If someone's like really weak, it's always different. But I'm like, I'm impressed, like how he can get away with that. I couldn't. And he's natural. So there's differences, obviously. And that everyone should also be aware of that, especially when you're like, oh, like Jay trained like that. I'm gonna do it. I don't have the same results, you know? So or it
Well,
doesn't work for me. Or
the
like what's
first
going
time
on?
that
Yeah.
Phil Heath tried to train with Jay Cutler, he couldn't keep up. There was a training video when Phil just turned pro and he tried to train, and they did a training video together, and Phil was
hmm
getting his ass kicked. He couldn't keep up. He
hmm
couldn't keep up with the weight and the pace.
Yeah.
But then over time, he got better at it, and he built more muscular endurance, and he was able to train at the same pace, relatively heavy. When I
Yeah,
say
but look, but that's obvious. If you're not as strong as someone who trains with 2 reps in reserve and you try to match the weight, you're not training at 2 reps in reserve. So obviously you can't keep up because his first set is all the way to failure. And then he tries to keep up with the weight and he can't. So he if he would
no,
done
no,
would
it's
do the
not even
same
the
training, but if Phil would do the same training as Jay and he's weaker and obviously he can't train at the same pace. He would have like have to lower the weight, and then he could do the same training as Phil with the same intensity. But if he tries to keep up with the weights, obviously it's done like right
no, no,
away.
no. I'm not saying trying to keep up with the same weights. He just couldn't keep the pace. Look, the first time I trained with Nasser on somebody, he went so fast between sets. He
Mhm.
would just go, you go, I go, you go, I go, like literally back to back. And I
Mhm.
remember we did an arm workout. It was like cardio because I'd never trained that quick before
Mhm.
that. It was like a cardio workout. I couldn't even go that heavy because it was like just, and I was going to failure pretty much because even with a light weight going that fast, it was just like cardio.
Yeah, he was
Um,
so pretty exhausted.
yeah, I was still tired from the
Yeah.
last set, but I was still going. Um, but the first time I did it, it just kicked my ass. But over
Yeah.
time, I was able to my muscular endurance got better and I could do it. Um,
But you lowered the weight. You didn't try to
yeah,
keep up
well,
with the
yeah,
weight.
okay, yeah, you're not going to do the same amount of weight if you're resting 45 seconds or a minute between sets, but you should
No, I
still go
mean,
to failure and do
yeah,
it.
yeah, but you're not trying to keep up with his weight, with his weights.
No, I wasn't ever trying to keep
Yeah,
up with
good.
his weights. It
Because
wasn't even
then you're
about.
obviously not
I'm just
there's no
saying that
chance.
the
Yeah.
pace, just the
Yeah.
pace of the workout was kicking my ass the first time I did it. Because
Yeah.
I came right straight from like powerlifting and going slow, like literally sitting around between sets to like just cranking all of a sudden just set from set to set to set.
Yeah.
Um,
You know what's weird? Like I trained like that for a little bit and I always kept the endurance. I don't know, like I even if I don't do it and I start doing it again, I can do it again. I don't know why. Like for me, it just somehow like once it was there, it never went. Like I can train fast pace. I think it's stupid because if you want to make progress, it just doesn't like it. I think this fast paced training really only works for gifted people because some people just think they don't need much progress. They just need to pump up and somehow get the failure and it's going to be fine. They're just going to grow. But for everyone who's just not like that gifted and has to figure out like, oh my God, I have a weakness, or I'm stuck, or I'm plateauing. Like, how do I get forward? Then you have to like start really like thinking about like, well, how am I going to achieve this? I can't just blindly just like lift weights with short breaks. Like, just that why power lifters are not doing short breaks, because it's just dumb. It's just not going to work. So then once you have to figure it out, it gets tougher. So
Well, Nick Walker just said in a video like yesterday that I watched, he's just coming off of competing and his coach told him to take it easy in the gym. And he said, I don't know how to take it easy. I just go in there and train hard.
Yeah.
And I know what he means. Like, what do you mean take it easy? Like, if I'm in there lifting, I'm going to go to failure because, like, I don't like. What am I going to do? Just stop in the middle of the set?
Yeah. You know what? I can do it, but it was tough for me too. And when you don't take any set to failure, like you can start doing it because like you warming up to a weight, and then you don't do the top set, but it feels so dumb and it feels so pointless. And you're like, why did I even train? Because it's like then I could just stay home. It's just like this didn't trigger any muscle growth. So what was that for? It's just like so pointless. That's why like I can even do the I can barely do the workouts before a contest, where it's just like, oh, just get some blood flow in. I'm like, I'll just do less. I can't just do like no good set. It just like feels dumb.
Well,
So I
I've
get what
actually
it just
done
feels so
this
unaccomplished.
unintentionally. For whatever reason, I've done like a workout where I'll do just not any really hard, heavy sets. I've done this very rarely, but I've done it. And I saw no progress from that at all. Nothing.
Yeah.
I did it maybe because of an injury or whatever I was doing at the time, but I didn't see any progress from it. I didn't feel like I got any growth out of it. The only time I
Yep.
get any growth is if I push the set and go do better than I did, previously.
Yep.
I can go in there and pump all day long, and I don't know. I don't think you get any growth from that because there's no stimulus. There's no reason for the muscles to get bigger and stronger. I think that some of these guys are pushing this. You don't have to train too hard because most people don't want to train too hard. It's an easier sell.
Yeah.
Let's face it. How many people really want to go in the gym and fucking lift heavy ass weights and near fucking kill themselves? I can tell you, like, Charlie and I went and did legs on Sunday. We were
Everyone
both
wants to, yeah.
we were
Everyone
both
wants to lift heavy
effed
on
up for
chest.
2 days
Yeah.
after that.
Yeah.
Like literally like effed up. Like I didn't want to walk the next day.
Yeah.
My CNS is burnt.
Yeah.
So
And there's your fatigue management. You only lift 4 times a week.
because I can't lift more than that, because if I tried to lift more than that, I would just burn myself out. And I've actually tried, like, for example, I've tried to bring up my arms by doing 2 arm workouts a week. What I found is, like, my first arm workout, I'm pretty damn strong. On the second one, I'm lifting fucking half the weight as I did because they're just not recovered.
I'm just saying that most of the people, they just hear these new terms, and it turns out there's always like some kind of application for them that they've been doing that exact same thing all the time. They just didn't call it central nervous system fatigue management. They just called it, you know what, I'm burned out, I have to rest. And now the term is, I'm managing my nervous fatigue. But at the end of the day, it's just like, well, either you lower volume intensity or you rest more. So it's the same thing, but just in different words. It's a lot of the stuff. The only bro science is this blind lifting, like crazy with like way too much junk volume, where I think that's really just bro, because like it's just like at some point, if you stay in the gym and lift, it's done.
Yeah,
Like
but you're
you can
saying
keep
bro
lifting,
science.
but
I don't
yeah,
know who's doing that, because if I look at all the top competitors, I don't over the years I don't see anybody doing that.
maybe not. You know what? The very top ones, probably barely. I think Hani Chupan still trains a little like that. Crazy amounts of volume, everything hardcore, and just once a week. Where he could just do less and more often. If it doesn't have to be weekly, twice a week. It could be twice in 10 days. That would be like more advantageous if you just would reduce it a little bit and do it just not that infrequent. But most of the guys on that are really on the top of the top, I agree. They already figured out that's the smartest way to go about it. But there's a ton of pros that don't train like that. A ton. I see it all the time at Golds. I see it all the time. So, like very many, very many.
Okay, now here's where I'm going to qualify what you just said. You see it
Yeah.
all the time at Golds. Let me just tell you this, and this is no bragging or bullshit. I used to once in a while when I was competing go down to Golds to train just for like motivation. And back in the 80s and 90s, it was like, you got a whole lot of pros in there training hard and everything. Early 2000s, I was still competing. I would go down to Golds, and I shit you not, Charles Glass would be in there training his clients, and I'd go in there and train by myself, and they would stop and just watch me train because I was the only person in the gym fucking training hard in that whole place. No one else, like I would do barbell squats with 600 pounds for reps. No one else was doing that. Charles had this guy's like sideways on a fucking hack squat machine doing some one-legged fucking thing, weird fucking movement with no weight. No one else was.
Besides, I love these stupid sideway leg presses. I'm like, oh my God, maybe there's some advantage to it. It's some kind of muscle, but like really, like just oh my God, just do a regular one. Just go all the way. Just go as heavy as you can, and just do a dead stop and good. Like at some point, it's just like sometimes it's like, oh my God, do we need to really like change this angle to 37.6 degrees to get one glute striation here? Oh my God.
But I'm just saying, like, I
Yeah.
don't, I haven't seen anybody training hard at Golds in over 30 years. Like,
Oh,
they used to go into Golds back in the 90s, and there are a bunch of monsters in there, incline pressing 500 pounds and shit. I don't see anybody in there doing that anymore.
no, I'm just saying like too much volume, too infrequent. You know what I mean? I'm not even
Mhm.
saying it's too hard, you know, but just too close. People can go really hard and really heavy, like you, and then you cannot train that much because you will go home anyways, correct? But I'm saying, okay, you go in like it doesn't even have to be a hard exercise, but if you just go close to failure on an easy to train muscle, like just like let's say arms, biceps to failure is really easy. Like if you can't, like everyone can do that and at least close to failure. But then you do 20 sets of biceps. It's like, buddy, no one needs 20 sets of biceps once a week. You know what I mean? You can do six 3 times. That will do way more. That's what I mean. People
Okay, well,
just go do
I do,
way too much.
I do
Yeah.
6 sets of biceps once a week.
I'm not talking about you, Larry. I'm not saying you do anything wrong.
No, I'm
I'm
just
just
saying
saying,
that's it.
I'm
That's
just saying,
enough.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm just saying a lot of people just like overdo it for these also, especially for arms, for the easier to train muscles, or people like chest. They all get to failure on chest. they can always, like on bench press, everyone can all of a sudden like do the heaviest weights, obviously shitty form. But on squats, they were like, yeah, no, I don't squat because XYZ, you know what I mean? So so these people, they like, you can, there's a lot of muscles that are really hard to, like really, really easy to get to failure, and people just overdo the volume like crazy. They're like 3 hours in the gym once a week. And I'm like, that just makes no sense. And that's what I mean by bro training. And there's still a lot going on, I feel, in even at pro level. Not maybe the top of the top, but I see it a lot. Also in other gyms, also at Best Gym, also like, it's not that uncommon.
Well, I'm just looking at most of the elite level pros, like top Olympia competitors, and how they've trained. And a lot of it's very similar,
Lately, yes. I think it
I
used to
mean,
be
over the years, it's
very
been
all over
similar.
the place.
Dorian even said in a recent interview, they said, how was his training different than Ronnie's? And he said, really, was it that much different? He trained 45 minutes. Ronnie trained an hour. Was it that much different? Maybe Ronnie did a few more sets, but not really.
Ronnie trained more frequent, right? Way more frequent.
He did train body parts twice a week, and he's the only person that did it. But he had two different workouts. He had one workout where it was like super heavy compound movements. And then the other movement was like cables and just like kind of like not so hard and very, very quick.
The one they never filmed.
I've seen films of it where he would do like a cable pull down and then like a long cable row and like, some hyperextension, and that was the end of it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, he was doing another back workout, but like the first one was like the heavy bent over rows, the heavy deadlifts, the heavy T-bar rows, going all out. And the next one was like long cable rows, lat pull downs, and some hyperextension, not really pushing it that hard.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure why he did it like that, but he didn't go in there twice a week and do heavy deadlifts, heavy T-bar rows, and heavy barbell rows twice a week. He didn't do that. He did one like heavy workout, and then the other one was kind of like a really quick like pump workout. And it is on. So it's a little misleading there. And he himself says he never trained more than an hour. So I mean, how much volume can you do in an hour?
Yeah.
Especially when you're lifting heavy weights.
Yeah. Then I really agree. Just with his form was shit. But other than that, then his training was actually pretty well thought out.
When you say his form was shit, there's a certain what I call body language you can put into an exercise. And I think people don't even understand this. Like on a bent over row, when I do a bent over row with heavy weight, I drop my hips into the bar to get that full contraction in my lats. I'm not stiff and pulling just with my arms. I'm using my body and I'm dropping my knees, but my form is actually correct. It might not look correct to someone who doesn't know what the hell I'm doing, but it is, because I'm able to make that heavy weight get that heavy contraction at the top of the movement, versus if I stayed very stiff with the movement and just pulled with my arms, I wouldn't be able to get that contraction in my lats.
I disagree. I know what you mean, and I know that you can get a really good contraction like that, but there's no way you can squeeze it for that long if you train at like a 6 reps.
You don't have to squeeze it for that long. You just have to squeeze that contraction at the top really hard.
Yeah, so I disagree that will like that you activate the muscle.
Let me just tell you,
but you say you do. Okay.
This is something I learned to row from Lee Haney. He's the first one that taught me back when I was a teenager how to do barbell rows, and we used to do it standing on a bench, literally. And then it took me many, many years of doing barbell rows with heavy weight to develop that form. It wasn't something I just walked in the gym and did it. And it's very hard to teach someone, especially when they're new, because they just don't have the mind muscle connection in their back to do that. But it is a real thing. It took a long time for me to get this down, but I also have a good mind muscle connection with my back, so I could do this. So to somebody else, it might look like my form is sloppy, but it's really not. I'm getting the exact movement I want out of it.
I still think you grew more, and we can't prove it from the higher reps you did on the barbells. I still think.
What do you mean the higher reps? I never did more than 6.
10, like 10 reps or 12.
I never did. Never. Okay. I never went. All my barbell rows were 6 reps. Never went higher.
Okay.
Pull-ups were like 10 reps. Barbell rows 6 reps. Deadlifts 3 to 5 reps. T-bar rows aside from strip sets, 6 to 8 reps. I never did high reps. It was always heavy weight. Always. No, the only thing I did barbell rows with an overhand grip because that's how I learned from Lee Haney. And I tried the Dorian way with the underhand grip, and I felt like it was just like too much biceps. I don't want to put that strain on my biceps doing a barbell row. I'm able to do a barbell row with an overhand grip and get the contraction in my back without making my biceps do the work.
Yeah, I would recommend no one to do that because it's just too risky to injure your bicep, and the benefit is probably not even there because you cannot load as much. So if you have a little better angle, but you have less mechanic tension, and rather than have a little more tension and a slightly worse angle, I think the higher tension will just be better anyways. So it's not worth the.
So he's saying he's standing in a 40 rack. No, you know what? I do my barbell rows parallel to the ground. Like my body is totally parallel to the floor. I'm not at that 45-degree angle. But that's how I learned from Lee Haney. Like I said, when I originally learned from Lee Haney to barbell row, who, by the way, Lee Haney had the biggest back of almost anybody. His back was insane. And he did a lot of barbell rows. And we used to do it standing on a bench, like a bench press. And we'd unrack the weight from the bench press and then bend over. And the reason we did it like that is so you could get a really long range of motion.
Okay, that's different. So if you do it like that, then obviously it's way different than the form that you showed your client do.
Okay, he's a little bit more upright than I would be.
Way more upright. He wasn't he was 90 degree. He was like
no, you're right.
At least
but he wasn't deadlifting during the movement.
No,
he was still,
but
I stayed more parallel to the ground and I pulled more with my lats. I think a lot of people turn a bent over row into a deadlift or an upright row. Like almost everybody does that shit.
Yeah. Well, then it's way different. If you can 6 reps, then you do 6 reps because that you can't cheat as much. Like even if you cheat, you can't really cheat because
I never come up. I
mean, if your highest is like a 60 degree because you cheat, you still low do the regular movement. So then I'll take it back because in that case, it's almost a different exercise.
Yeah, I'm always parallel to the ground. That's why I say I drop my hips into it. And I don't come up like this. I'll drop my hips into it to get that contraction at the top. So it might look like I'm not perfectly stiff, which I don't want to be, but because I'm trying to get that contraction, but I'm never turning it into a deadlift. It's all lats. You're muted. Leo, we can't hear you. Can't hear you still. Not sure what's going on. Can you guys hear Leo? I can't hear him.
I should be back, right?
Yep, hear you now.
Yeah, my headphones went out, and then it automatically was on mute, and I didn't see it because there was a bar over it. So you heard me say I take it back, right? Because
Yeah.
you had a different form. Okay, you still have that. Well, that's all that was needed. Oh, what I was saying is that is crazy because you do deadlifts and a barbell row that is that angled in the same workout. It's like a shit ton of lower back strain, right? So
I do my barbell rows first and then deadlifts.
yeah,
And the reason being is if I deadlift first, I can't barbell row with that
yeah,
form.
of course. Your barbell
Because my
rows.
lower back is shot out.
Yeah.
I usually deadlift, like I'll do barbell rows and then I deadlift because I can't do it the other way around.
Yeah.
Someone
That
says
makes total sense.
they do barbell rows, they feel it way more in their lats with the underhand grip. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't work your lats. You're just putting your biceps at a risky thing. And Dorian literally tore his bicep doing that form.
Yeah.
So you're just using your biceps way more. And there is a way to do it if you keep your elbows in to get your back. It's just keeping your elbows in.
I mean, if you feel your lats way more than the other form, well, then your other form is just not good.
Right.
Because you can feel your lats so hard doing it like with a pronated grip. You don't have to do it supinated. No way you have to. Like, just figure out your form better, and then you won't have to ever do it again. Or if you need to do underhand, just do another underhand movement. Just don't do it with the barbells. I just wouldn't.
Someone asked. I just posted on my Instagram Charlie doing a fucking back workout. So go watch that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the guy I'm training right now, and he's lifting heavy ass weights with pretty damn good form, and he's strong as shit. I could post my back workout, but like I said, because of the lower back injury, I'm doing a lot of machine, like hammer strength, machine supported stuff. So
how did you injure your lower back?
It's not even my lower back. It's my SI joint. SI joint nerve is compressed. So I guess that is sort of the lower back, but it's not like it's not in my spine.
So do you go to the chiropractor like every other day, or?
No, there's nothing they've been able to do for me. There's a compression in my SI joint, and the only thing I can do is like massage and stretch. I haven't got doctors can't seem to do shit for me. But the only thing it did is like I just don't deadlift anymore because every time I do it, my back is like freaking like this. But I do reverse hypers for back because that actually helps my back. But so like all of my rowing is like chest supported rows because otherwise my lower back just cramps up like too much. So, yeah, watching my back workout, I don't know if that would help you guys. I just posted Charlie's lifting. And yeah, he was a little bit more upright than I'd like him to be, but I don't think it was terrible. Especially considering the amount of weight he was using. Try POS right to release the POS. That helps SI. Yeah, I had a really great massage therapist and she freaking moved away and I got to find a new one. So,
yeah. A good chiro and a massage guy in your situation can do wonders. Maybe I don't have your diagnoses, but not like wonders, but just for your well-being and your training, I could imagine.
Yeah, I have a guy in LA. It's just like it's far to drive out there to see him.
Yeah, I'm like I'm with Good Chiro in LA.
Mm-hmm.
He's really good, Dr. Griffin. Very young guy, very open to everything, and very, very good. Like I was just there. I had some compression issues as well from all your from all your stiff leg deadlifts, Larry. I guess no. I actually, you know what? So stupid. It actually was right after I had my bike, my wife on the back of my bike my motorbike, and I was so tucked forward, and my like legs on the pedal, and while riding, I felt like this feels like shit. Oh, this doesn't feel good. What? We're there in 3 minutes, and I'm like there, and I'm like, shit, this was bad. And right after that, it was like, phew. But then I went to the chiro, and he was like cracking me down, like from the bottom to the top, and I felt immediate relief, like so much better. And then I was trying to hang a lot and go into the stretch cage to really like hang and push, like so you can push yourself away with your legs and hang, so you really decompress your spine. Because the hanging alone might not help enough. You would have someone to really push you down, and if you don't have it, you can do it and push yourself away in this cage. So if you have a stretch cage, a lot of gyms have that. I would always try to go in there. You look like an ape, but it's cool. It helps.
I actually have a decompression bench at my gym where
Yeah.
you like hang upside down. It's like really good.
Oh, nice. I would love to have one of that. Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
And
Maybe
it
I
works.
should have to. Maybe I
use
should
it
buy
regularly.
one. It's not that expensive, huh? Inverse.
The one I
bench.
have, I've never seen it anywhere else. It's like it looks like you're getting in a leg curl machine, but then it turns over.
You know, maybe I can get a deal with some company for some advertising or so, if they're expensive. Otherwise, I just buy.
I don't know where I think this thing was handmade or something. I've never seen it anywhere else.
I mean, there's good inversion tables. I don't think.
Yeah, but no,
they'd be
those
that
things
expensive.
I've had those too. This thing's way better. It's a totally different thing. I'll have to send you pictures of it.
Oh, okay. How's it better? What does it do?
Just you get in it and like your knees are like locked in like you're doing a leg curl, and then the whole thing turns over, so you're hanging straight upside down, but you're not hanging from your feet. You're hanging from your knees like you're in a leg curl machine.
But then you have to flex your glutes,
No,
your hamstrings.
no, you don't. You're just locked in there.
Okay.
The pads are on the front of your thighs, and then your knees are wrapped around the leg curl machine. You're not holding yourself at all with muscle tension.
Okay.
And there's handles that you lower yourself down in it, and it just works. It's hard for me to explain it without showing it.
I understand it.
But I've never seen it anywhere else. I got it from there was a old-time bodybuilder had a gym in San Diego, and he had all this handmade stuff, and it like badass equipment that he made by hand. And I got this stuff. I got stuff that you've never seen it anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like a handmade tibialis machine that I've never seen anywhere else. A big dipper that you've never seen it anywhere else. It's cool stuff. So let's take some questions from you guys.
How's the gear in Germany? The gear is the same, I would think. I don't really know, but there's a lot of German bodybuilders that don't look natural, so should be fine. I don't think it's better. It's all the same. It's all China.
Yeah, I think, there's this thing about the gear being better back in the day because it was pharmaceutical grade. And there's some truth to that if you have a shit source. But like, I know like the gear that I get, it's 100% legit. Everything. And it's pure, and there's nobody ever had a problem with it. No infections, no nothing. It's dosed properly. We've all had it tested. So, I mean, it just depends on who's making it.
I'm always thinking that also all the people that claim it was better, they also got 30 years older. And when you're 20 and you have better results, no shit. You know what I mean? So if I'm like if I'm like in 20 years and the gear doesn't work as well, and I'm like 53, I'm like, yeah, the gear was better back then. Now maybe it's just also because I'm 53 and it doesn't work as well because I'm 53. No one ever thought about that part. That people get older.
I don't think the gear was better back when than it is now. I'm 58.
Yeah.
I don't think it's any different. I know the stuff I get is legit, 100%. And never had a problem, never had an infection, never had a weird shot, nothing. And it works just like it's supposed to. And I know where it comes from. I know who makes it, and it works. Yeah. So I think it's just,
different sources might
my source
underdoses.
I've known this guy for 20 plus years, and I know what they do. So I know it's legit. There is fake stuff out there, though. There's people that make crap.
Yeah.
Especially with the powder shortage right now. I guarantee you there's fake shit out there.
Maybe everything they're going to have those now because they have to ration it. Could be that a lot of people will do that.
There's some people will do it. I know, like my people are not going to do that shit, but there's some
have
people who will
have those and sell for double because there's a shortage. There you go.
No, there's people that are going to do that for sure. There's
people that's what I'm saying.
Bottles of oil with nothing in
it. I'm serious. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, here I asked this guy and he answered. To relieve SI joint, best thing is to train your glutes, stretch your psoas muscle, and stretch your rectus femoris. Rectus femoris always gets stretched. That's for sure. Stretch your psoas, okay? I mean, that's obvious. Train your glutes. I always train my glutes, but okay. Maybe you should do some extra hip thrusts or so, Larry. Maybe that could help a bit.
Dude, I train my glutes hard as fuck every week.
Yeah, like isolated too?
I do the abductor-adductor machine at the end of my leg training workout, which works the glutes directly. So you have the abductor. The adductor works the glutes.
The abductor.
Yeah.
But but it doesn't work the glutes in a way where you could really grow them seriously. I think that's one of the worser ones if you want really like glute growth or strength. I would say like if you really want to grow your glutes and you do like
100%. If I want to grow my glutes directly, I'm going to do
hip thrusts,
the bridges in a Smith machine with heavy weight,
which we call hip thrust nowadays.
Yeah.
with it in the Smith machine, though. I don't like the machine. I like
whatever
with the Smith machine with a pad on it with really heavy weight. That thing works. But I feel like I get so much glutes from the deep squats that my glutes, my glutes are like. Plus, I do two types of squats. I do like a more narrower squat for quads, and then I do real wide.
Yeah,
and those real wide squats, especially with a belt squat, it's like all glutes and hamstrings.
Yeah,
my glutes were sore as shit after the last workout we did. We did the belt squats wide, and my glutes and abductors and hamstrings were sore as crap.
I had to do that for the last few workouts too, because of my spine. So instead of the deadlift you told me to do, I did sumo squats on the belt squat, and same thing. It's almost the same movement. I just feel when you're really pulling from the bottom, you engage the glutes and hams even more, but it's almost the same.
Yeah, I feel like when I do the wide stance belt squat, it's like a lot of glutes and hamstrings.
Yeah,
mostly glutes and hamstrings. Sciatic nerve is different. I've had that in the past. Sciatic is a totally different thing. A lot of sciatic nerve, I blew my L4, L5 disc when I was young, and I just got this surgery where they go in and zap out the disc material, and it was fixed in 1 week. So you can get that fixed a lot easier.
Yeah.
I don't know why with its SI joint nerve compression, they can't seem to do anything with it. I've looked into different surgeries. There's really nothing they can do. They don't have anything.
Just do every stretch in the whole freaking world. just get as flexible as you can. I guess that's the best thing you can do.
No, what I do is I like literally stretch and dig on myself with a massage gun before every workout and just loosen up the whole area.
No, but probably every day. Stretch everything every day.
Well,
you know,
I do that before every workout for like 30 minutes, and that's 4 days a week.
But with mobility, seriously, if you don't do it every freaking day, you can improve it, but you actually have to do it almost every day. This is something like, which is like such an asshole mobility. Like, if you're not on it every day, it's like, dude, I 4 times and nothing happened. And then you do it every day and you're like, oh my God, like finally something's happening. So, just my recommendation,
maybe I'll try doing it more often.
Try it. Yeah.
All right. Any other questions you guys have, gear or training or whatever?
Johnny, Death, and Dane, you guys can message me on Instagram, please, if you want to help me out. There's so much messages here, like with the stretches and stuff. But I appreciate it. How long do you wait till you start taking Primo after taking 0.5 Arimidex 200 milligrams test a week, 1 ml, low dose aromatase easy? You can front load. So I don't know if you want to try 200 and 200 instead of taking the Arimidex. Wait, you took 0.5. So one, yeah. So maybe 200 a week, and the first time you just front load with let's say you do 100 twice a week, so you front load maybe with 300 for the whole week, and then you start at 100 twice a week or so, and then you might you might be able to skip it right away.
So they're doing Primo and tests?
So he wants to switch from 200 tests with twice a week half an Arimidex and add Primo in order not to have to take Arimidex anymore. So I'm saying he might want to try 200 a week of Primo. And he's asking how long does the Primo has to be in his system until he can start
effect.
the anastrozole. And I'm like, how about you just front load and do 300 Primo on the first shot, and then in the second week you like have the 2 shots of 100 with your tests, and then you might be able to just take it out immediately, the anastrozole, because you're front loaded.
Well, it's a long acting ester, so probably take a week to kick in.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, but that's why I say front loaded. There's a good calculator where you can actually try out how much and see how much you have to front load in order to be really fast. So you could be like week 1, 300 one time, and then week 2, 100 Wednesday, Friday, and it shows you the graph. And then it'll show you if my estimation was right. I could be a little off, obviously. Optimally, you would, do it a little different. Maybe, maybe the optimum would be like 260 in the first shot, and then in a second shot in the first week with 50 milligrams, and then do 100 and 100, because it's like, if you take the 300, it goes down too fast if it's an enanthate, so you might want to have the second shot. So, but that's too technical. Just try it out on the calculator. That was an estimate.
Yeah, but you still got individual response too, so you're just really not going to know until you try it.
But if you have a calculator, you'll be more spot on than if you just wing it, I guess.
Right.
And if you want to be as accurate as possible, just take the calculator. There's obviously a plus minus. Not everyone's the same. It's even a plus minus where you inject it. If you do delts or if you do quads, the quads uptake is faster than the bigger the muscle, the faster the absorption.
Right.
So if you want to front load, really take a bigger muscle too.
Any other questions you guys have on training gear or anything before we wrap this thing up today?
Let me see if there's something else. It's a little older ones. Nah. No, there's not much.
All right. I think we covered some pretty good stuff today.
Yeah. If you want to actually check out gear, I have 2 videos on pro off season and pro like top pro contest prep cycles. What like the common, concepts are there. So you can check that out. I think it's just whatever pro contest prep cycle and pro off season cycle you can put in, and then I lay everything down, even till the Arimidex and everything. What's like pretty common. So obviously I can't tell a dose of Arimidex because that's individual,
right?
But yeah, good, man. I think
we're
pretty long, dude. 1 hour 45. Jesus. Yeah.
Well, we covered a lot.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So if you guys have questions later, put your questions in for next week as well. And actually, I will be going to, I think it's not till June 19th. I'm going to Alabama. I just found out to that.
The Oklahoma Pro?
To that whatever Dave Palumbo's thingy there at that show.
Oh, Alabama, not Oklahoma. Yeah.
Alabama. Yeah.
Cool. That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
The Whack Pack is meeting up.
DMSO. DMSO brings stuff in. I you know what I use? Honestly, I have lidocaine cream, and that shit works wonders. I get up in the morning and I put it on after a shower, and it works wonders. So I do have things to manage it. I'm just saying, like, I just don't do heavy deadlifts anymore because it fucks me up. But I don't feel like I need to at this point. I deadlifted for 40 years. So right now I can train my back without having to deadlift. I'm not competing it at this point.
Nice.
All right, guys. Again, if you have questions, put them in the comments. Don't forget like, subscribe, and all that stuff so we can keep bringing you more information. And if you have topics for next week, anything particular you guys want us to talk about, put that in the comments as well. And we will be sure to touch on those subjects.
All right, Larry, have a good one. You guys subscribe to my podcast. It's taken, it's exploding. I have 620,000 views the last 28 days.
Wow.
Jesus Christ. So now people getting even my old ones recommended. Even Arnold's bodyguard was like, I just watched your Aceto podcast popped on my YouTube.
You got some really good guests you're getting on there.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Yeah, so the more different, we should bring on some guests, because the more guests we bring on, bring their followers in and they see you. Because maybe there's people, that would love to see you. And there's a guy that he has your demographic, and they will love you. If you bring him on, he brings them on. So maybe think about who is the most similar to your philosophy or story, maybe, and try to bring him on.
Well, I want to try to get Dorian Yates.
I mean, of course.
I just feel like I could have a really good conversation with him.
Oh, probably. But maybe also think about other people that,
Well, I have Dr. Guillermo Escalante coming on next week.
Available, yeah.
And it'll be
very good. All right.
All right.
See you guys. Thanks for tuning in.
I believe that the fires were cast upon, on the flames we shall become. I believe in a common cause.